I have left the big city and I have traveled today into the provinces right on the border of Islin and Edison. So people call this Edison, New Jersey, which is a small little part of town, kind of like a block and a half, full of Indian stores, Indian clothing stores, jewelry stores, restaurants, grocery stores, and we are starting at Nazranaa's, which is a beautiful, like an incredibly beautiful clothing store. And I'm here because I have a wedding to attend, an Indian wedding, and I need something to wear. So I thought I'd spend the day in this lovely little town shopping. Let's go inside. I'm here with Shashank Gupta. Shashank, thanks so much for having us today.
It's an absolute pleasure, dude.
I've never been here, but one of my friends recommended coming here. She said, that is the place to go if you're looking for an outfit in New Jersey. And she said that you also do tailoring, right?
Yeah, so that's very kind of her. So just to give you a little bit of backstory of the area, so Edison's the biggest South Asian market in the country.
In the country?
In the country. So it's Edison first,
Yep.
Artesia in LA second, and then Devon in Chicago third.
What about Jackson Heights? That's all I've ever known. And someone said recently, they're like, Jackson Heights, you need to go to Edison.
We're fourth generation into clothing. So my great-great-grandfather started it. We started with retail.
Yeah.
My father's generation took it and became a big export house. And then they started doing wholesale here. And then once me and my sister joined, we moved back into retail. So we're both the biggest retailers as well as wholesalers of Indian garments in the U.S. now.
When you say your great-great-grandfather started, where was that?
In Benares, that's where we're from.
Really?
Yeah.
As in the clothing business?
Yeah, so we were the biggest silk sari shop in Benares.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, I'm just like, I'm so happy because I was in India as a kid. My mom took my sisters and me to India when I was 14.
Okay.
And she thought it was very important for us to see how saris were woven. So we went to Kanjeevaram. Have you been to Kanjeevaram?
I haven't, but I'll let you complain. I'll tell you my story.
We went to Kanjeevaram and we had someone take us to these weavers' houses where they were weaving the saris by hand, silk and gold, and I will never ever forget because my mom wore Kanjeevaram saris, and when I finally saw who was weaving them, it was something I'll never be able to erase from my mind. These stunningly beautiful garments of silk and gold.
I was 10 when I first went. There's a city called Champa. Mm-hmm. That's where silk is made. So you go one step before the weaving, right? It's a very sad process because the way silk is made is you take a cocoon and you dip it in boiling water. So the worm on the inside dies and you can pull the thread out without damaging the thread. That's why the real test of finding out whether something's silk or not is you take a piece of the thread and you burn it. And if it smells really pungent, and it's hard to show you right now, it burns in a certain way as opposed to polyester. Those are your two tests of telling whether the fabric is silk or not.
So let's move to present day. I have a wedding that I'm going to in September. A very good friend of mine is getting married. It's an Indian wedding. And I have been wearing the same Indian garment for probably 15 years, just because I love it so much. And I felt like it was time to update it. Can I show you what I have been wearing, please? I brought it with me. So I have a top, which is, my mom bought this for me when we went to India when I think I was 14 years old.
Well, I'm glad it still fits you.
It does still fit.
I wish I could say that for myself.
It's actually been altered a little bit.
Okay.
It's been taken in, actually. So that's the top. And then I love wearing the traditional dhoti.
Okay.
In the bottom. And I feel like
it's unstitched, so you know how to tie it.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Stitched dhoti. There's such a thing?
Yo, I mean, guys don't know how to wear dhotis anymore, so it's all stitched now.
Well, one of the things I would like to show everyone is how I put this on, because I think part of my love of our traditional clothing is the ancientness of it, how far back it goes, the fact that a single piece of cloth for many thousands of years has been artfully draped into garments. So today I wanted to ask you about options for a top.
Okay.
And then I also wanted to ask you about dhotis. Do you sell these like in silk with like a fancier border?
So we do, just not at this store.
Okay.
We have a separate store called Fabric Guy.
Yep.
Where you get all sort of accessories. So silk dhotis, non-silk dhotis with the big gold borders. So they're called the green and red borders. They're called shatmandus. And those are the two dominant colors that they come in.
Okay.
And then some stores will carry some other colors, but majority will be in your whites and creams.
Okay.
But if you like to play around with colors, you can find them in like hot pinks, reds, greens,
Okay.
purples, all those things too.
And where do we start? Like,
Come.
what can you show me?
Let me take you to our men's
Okay,
section.
thank you. Is it okay if I leave this
Yeah,
here? Oh,
absolutely.
actually,
So I'm guessing you're a size 36.
yes.
You're 36 short in suits?
So 34 is really
34?
what I
Okay.
would wear.
I'll give you sort of your three broad categories of how South Asian men's outfits can be divvied up, and then you tell me which one you want to be in.
Sure.
So the first are kurtas. Kurtas are what you had. They're almost like t-shirts. They're very flaily,
Yeah.
flaky. They're meant to be worn loose. They're technically 6 inches plus your chest measurement. So I'm guessing if you said you're a size 34 suit, your chest measures a 34. That means a kurta in its actual width would be about 40 inches, 38 to 40 inches.
So when I mentioned that I had that altered, that was the thing that I had altered. I like the idea of wearing the kurta, but to like update it and make it fashionable, sort of haute couture, where it looks like it was really tailor-made. So they took it all the way in, like took it all the way in, over there and here.
So the reason that could have been done for yours is because yours is a button-down kurta.
Oh, I see.
If you do a kurta that goes on top of your head, you won't be able to do that because it needs to clear this
Right.
when you're putting your hands in.
Right.
So that was part of the reason why it was that loose.
Because it could go.
Because you had to put your hands, so it had to clear your lats when you put your
Yeah.
hands in. So it needed to be at least that wide.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Your second category is called Indo-Westerns. Some people actually refer to Sherwanis Indo-Westerns, not for us. Indo-Westerns for us it's a slightly heavier version than a kurta. It's not as heavy as a Sherwani. It has 60 grams of canvassing in it, which is what gives it its form. Like a kurta is very flaky, almost like a t-shirt, right? And Indo-Western will hold a little bit of its form.
Okay.
And then after that, the next level of formality is a Sherwani. Sherwanis have 110 grams of canvassing. They're very stiff. They're hard to move in. The range of motion is only this much. It's almost like a suit that's buttoned up. The only advantage with the suit is you can open up the buttons and then move around more freely. Here, you don't have that flexibility. So the way the 3 layers work is each becomes more formal because they become more rigid.
Okay.
They don't move as much. But the con of it is as you move up the chain, the less range of motion you get.
Right.
Yeah. So what do you want to be?
I don't want something very formal.
Okay.
So the other thing about this garment, like I don't have a lot of room in my apartment, so I really don't have a lot of clothes.
Okay.
And I've pared everything down to just stuff that I can wear a lot
Okay.
and that I love.
Okay.
I'm going to replace this with one garment. I would like to also be able to wear that to the temple,
Okay.
like on New Year's Day.
Okay.
So I don't think the two more formal categories
Got
are
it.
for me.
Okay.
I think just looking at a kurta is fine.
Sure.
The other thing that I have been thinking of is just having another one made based on this, like giving this to a tailor.
And having him
and
alter it down.
No, having like buying a sari that I like.
Okay.
And then having them make another top from a sari.
Sure.
Is that a possibility here?
We'll have to ask the tailors.
Okay.
If they can do it.
Okay.
I mean, if this needed to be done in India, absolutely, it's not a problem.
Okay. Can I also see these two yellow ones, please?
Am I pulling it?
Yeah, that one and the one above. There it is.
I like these. This is good because if you have a bunch of vests and stuff, this is easy to match with. What I like about this are the cuffs.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay, I'll try this one on.
And then these have proper trousers. I know
Okay.
you like doing your dhotis, but
Yeah.
a lot of guys have gotten really annoyed over a period of time with churidars. So now we have these. And then another thing that I worked on was two-way stretch pants.
The churidar is the pants that get all really gathered up,
Yeah,
right?
so basically
I love those.
what a churidar is, it's basically your ankle length plus 5 inches.
Okay,
And that 5 inches of fabric is supposed to wrinkle in the bottom, and that's what's called a churidar. That's what gives you that look. And I know you're probably not up for the Indo-Westerns, but I still want you to look at one.
sure, yeah. I would love to just see what they look like. That's beautiful. I like this a lot.
So this will be very comfortable too. So again, you like traditional, but traditionally, no one's really paid attention to South Asian men's clothing. Okay.
Well, that's what I've sort of gathered. I've always kind of been disappointed when I've started looking.
Yeah.
In Jackson Heights. It's like another problem.
And the thing is, like, the Indian market's very different than the U.S. market. In India, people like stiff. Even your shirt needs to be starched. Like, if you go to a dry cleaner, your shirt will be starched. It won't be soft. Here, my guys don't care how stiff a product is. They just care about how it feels on their body. They want it to be soft. So if you feel this, we've put, so this one has a cotton lining, but take a look at this one. We've put crepe linings in them.
Wow. So you've had these all custom made? Like these are made for you?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow, I had no idea.
We do about 20% of our manufacturing in-house, and the rest is sourced from other vendors. You're cool with that.
Totally.
So this length is fine?
A little short. Like I know it's dramatic, but it's like the...
Okay. उनको अपनी बैंगल दिखानी है तो आप
This is a groom's outfit?
This is a groom's outfit. Yeah.
Look at this thing. Was this hand embroidered?
This is fully hand done.
What?
So you get 3 different kinds of work, right? You get machine embroidery, you get machine plus hand, and then you get all hand. This is all hand.
How long did this take to do?
This takes about 3 weeks.
3 weeks?
3 weeks of 4 people working on it simultaneously.
Oh my, those poor people. I can't, like I genuinely am not, I know this has been oversaid, so I hate even saying it, but I actually can't believe it. Like when I look at this, I can't actually believe that this is humanly possible.
So the women's outfits take even longer, right? If you make a round to the bridal store, we have brides that do these massive 60-pound outfits. There's a bride that when she came out of the fitting room, she tipped over. That's how heavy her outfit was.
Really?
Because not only did she have a 6-foot train, she had 2 dupattas, one going across, one on top of her head, and then a 12-foot veil on top of it.
Wow.
But she wanted it.
And are these things often just worn once?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, if I had this, I would not just wear this once. I would be a groom many times. Well, any great shopping expedition requires refreshments to keep the energy up. So, because we're in Edison, we got a recommendation from Shashank to come to Mughal Express. And I'm very excited because I am hungry. This place smells great, looks great. It's time for lunch. So, okay, here's one thing about me. All my friends, my closest friends, know that there's like things that I do. Like one of them is, wow, pretty. And another thing is, what's the other thing? It's like, yeah. And then the third thing that I always do is, and these things have origins. Like the yeah is from a little girl named Dylan, who when we would ask her questions and she would get excited, she would go, yeah. And this, about food, comes from Prince, who's a dog. Like every time I go to put his food down and he's very excited about it, he just starts to blink like crazy and the tongue goes crazy. It's the perfect way of summarizing the feeling of this. Okay, what do we have here? We have butter naan. We have lecha paratha. Lecha paratha is a layered paratha, different kind of flatbread. This looks so good. I ordered lecha paratha because that isn't something that you see on the menu in Indian restaurants in New York. You often see naan or roti, but you don't see lecha paratha on a menu. I love eating vegetarian when it's an option, so we have chana masala, which looks like real chana masala, and this is malai kofta. And malai kofta are little balls of urd dal, of lentils that have been ground up, soaked, ground up, and then formed into a ball and fried and then put into a sauce. And mango lassi. Time to eat. So good. Well, we've come to our next stop, Fabric Guy, also in Edison, New Jersey, and we are with Mr. Gupta Sr., Shashank's dad. Mr. Gupta, it's a pleasure to meet you.
My pleasure too.
So your son sent us here because I talked about having a custom kurta made, and he said that you have fabric here. I did want something in pure silk. So Shashank took all of my measurements and he's going to send something to India. And I thought I was just going to get plain white, but when I came to the beautiful selection that you have on this wall of all the colors, I got overwhelmed. I thought, oh, look at the possibilities. So I've picked out these fabrics. He said I need 7 yards. So I want some fabric for the top and some fabric for the churidar. How much for each?
See, basically, what you have selected is all silks.
Yes.
That's okay. But for pajama, like you can take a dupini silk, which is known as raw silk
Yes.
here, largely called as raw silk.
Yeah.
So for pajama, you can use that, and for kurta, you can use this.
I want this for both.
So you can do it for both as well. There's
Yeah.
no issue. But like if you want to make even dupini kurta pajama, that also you can do it.
Yep.
See, like when you have seen the silks of ours, you have only seen a limited variety. If you want, I can show you much more varieties of silks.
Okay.
You can have dhoti and kurta made out of it. Like I didn't know that you are going to come here. Otherwise, I have got pure silk dhoti and kurta. I could have shown you how it looks.
Wow.
Okay. So you can make like these fabrics falls too good. No doubt it is expensive, but thing is like you can have beautiful colors out of this to make a dhoti and kurta as well.
You know what I keep looking at?
Yeah, you can.
No, I keep looking at your rings.
Oh,
Look at your nice rings.
yeah,
Look at that one.
yeah.
What is that?
This is known as pokhraj in Hindi. Green stone ko kya bolte hain?
Emerald?
Emerald.
Is that a real
It is
emerald?
Yes, of course.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
Sorry. I
Even
got to-
this is neelam. It is kya
Sapphire?
sapphire.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful stone. It suits to the people, not everyone.
I just filmed a video.
Yeah.
I have a book about the Maharaja's jewels.
Okay.
And historically, the Hindus would wear the Navaratnam.
Yes.
And it says in that book that the astrologers would say sapphire is a stone that doesn't...
Very dangerous.
Yes.
Very dangerous.
And it said it doesn't suit most people, but the
Yes.
astrologers say for some people the sapphire works really well.
If it suits you, it makes you king. If it doesn't suit you, it makes you beggar.
And so how did you
Test it.
come in touch with this
See,
stone?
when you get a stone,
Yeah.
you have to keep one night under your head, under the pillow. Okay. If that day, next day when you get up and you are fine, you don't have any health problem or anything like that,
Yeah.
number one. And if you start getting some good news, something better, then you think that, yeah, it suited you. If it doesn't suit you, it will give you a bad feeling as well as it will give you bad dreams. So then you should decide, no, it should not be.
Really?
Yeah.
Now with this sapphire, did you do it with this sapphire?
Of course.
And
I'm using this from last 40 years.
40 years.
Yeah.
So when you had the sapphire under your pillow, it wasn't set in a ring?
No.
What was it in?
It was just open.
Like in a cloth or?
Yeah, in a paper.
So you just put the stone in the
Yeah.
paper under your pillow?
Yeah.
And then the next day you felt like it,
Yeah, I felt good.
yeah? And you've worn it for 40 years.
Yeah.
That's because when I saw blue, I thought he's a Hindu,
Hmm.
but my book said sapphires are not for most people, so that's probably not a sapphire.
No.
But you're one of those rare Hindus that
No,
it works.
you'll find quite a few people whom it suits. It is
Okay.
for Shani. It is known as for Shani
okay.
this year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Anyway, so
Yeah.
thank
So
you.
let's coming back to the silk.
I also-
so these
yes.
are with the silks like this. Then if you want, I can show you more varieties of silk.
Yes.
Like booty in crepe. It is crepe
Okay.
silk. It's crepe silk.
Oh wow, it's very fine.
Yeah.
And then these.
This is tissue.
So many varieties of, and the pure silk, right?
Yeah. All what I'm showing you is pure silk.
But the texture is so different.
See, this is pure silk with tissue. When I call it tissue, what is tissue means? Where the jari thread goes, that
Jari-
is tissue.
jari means the
is
gold
the
threads.
gold, yeah. It's in all over in the body of the silk.
Okay, these gold threads.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so now we are in Nazranaa
Silk and saris.
silk and saris. So it seems to me from my day in Edison that Nazranaa rules the town. We've been to Nazranaa,
Party wear.
Party wear.
men's.
then we went to Fabric Guy, which is your fabric store,
Yep.
after lunch, and now we're in Nazranaa
Nazranaa
silk and saris. And across the street is Nazranaa Bridal.
Yes.
I think your father's sapphire ring really worked and made him the king. Let me just fill everybody in as to what has happened today. After talking about all of this stuff with Shashank, I really realized I would like these clothes to be pure silk. As beautiful as they are, colorful, embroidered, they're still not completely pure silk. So we went to the drawing board, and Shashank is going to send cloth to India to be made into garments, which I'm so excited about. At the fabric store, I intended to buy white, but then I got really sidetracked because I saw these beautiful colors.
Okay.
So I'm going to show you what we're going to do.
Sure.
So we're going to make the Sherwani pants out of this.
Okay.
And then we're going to make two tops,
Oh, this is very nice.
one out of this,
This is very nice.
and then one out of this. So I'll like two.
Got it.
But what I love is like the play of these beautiful in-betweens. It's not peach and it's not pink. I did hold them against my skin, and the colors together are stunning. And I feel like to wear to the temple in the winter and the summer,
Beautiful.
it feels like what would be on one of the statues of Meenakshi or something.
Yep.
Like really in line with, it felt like that. It
Yeah.
felt like temple clothing. I did want to look at two things: a dhoti that's silk, because
Okay.
the dhoti that I have is cotton, just plain cream colored
Sure.
cotton, which is sort of the loincloth, or it's called a Vesti in South India, and you have silk ones here.
Yes.
And then I also wanted to just look at Kanjeevaram saris.
Sure.
Kanjeevaram is the town that I went to as a kid with my parents, like, forget how old I was, 12, 14, when we went to India the first time, and we saw those weavers weaving. Those are the saris that I always heard about. It was the epitome of South Indian woman's wardrobe.
100%. It still is.
Is it really?
It still is.
Kanjeevaram
Yeah,
still?
Yeah. So these are the 4 colors that I have in the pure silk dhotis.
Okay.
I have others in the cotton ones, but I guess you already have a cotton one. So
Yes, I've never actually seen silk colored ones before. I had heard that they exist.
Yep.
But I've never actually seen them. They're beautiful. How often does someone purchase one of these?
silk dhotis, to be honest, I don't know many customers who actually purchase them to wear it.
Yeah.
A lot of customers purchase them to offer the deity.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, and then the temple will drape this on the idol.
Yep.
Like
Exactly.
Vishnu will wear the gift that was given to him.
Yep. Exactly. Like if I had to go to the temple and I want to give something, I would take a silk sari, right? So someone that wants to give to a male deity would take a silk dhoti.
And then they actually use this.
Yeah, 100%.
Okay, so my eyes are drawn to this.
So this one is very cool because you see how it has the iridescence on it?
Yes.
That's because the waft is one color and the weft is another color.
So my viewers have often heard me talk about the warp and the weft of something constantly. And so if the warp might be blue, the weft was pink or red or orange in this case, and that creates this what's called shot.
Iridescence.
Iridescence?
Yeah.
Let's is it okay if I open this up?
Please.
Wow. Look at this. Okay. I think this will be my silk dhoti. That's stunning.
It's a stunning color.
That's really beautiful. I think Vishnu would approve.
So you know the funny thing is, you were talking about the weaver stories, right?
Yes.
The next set of saris that I'm going to show you, the way the weavers show those saris, they don't show it to everyone. B, when they show it to you, there's a way of showing it back home. They'll bring it out on a silver tray, and they'll show it to you like they're bringing their baby out because they've spent months weaving that sari, right? That's the kind of love and care that they bring it with.
And that you've experienced that?
Yeah, I've experienced that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's beautiful. It's quite like how carefully they bring a piece out because they know the labor of love that went into making that piece, right? Traditionally, silk saris were made with pure gold and pure silver. Mm-hmm. But in the last 60 years, I think to get the price point down, a lot of silk saris, or majority of the silk saris, are now not woven with gold. They're just woven with, if I'm not mistaken, I think the right term is tested zari, which is technically just another word for polyester zari.
Okay. And the term jari, it says zari.
Zari.
My mom would always say, or when we would go to the shop in Tamil, they would say jari.
Jari, yeah.
Jari. That's the term of the golden threads.
The saris, the next 5 or 6 saris that I'm going to show you are all with gold, silver, and copper in it. And here's the certificate of authenticity of it, where it's been tested, and it tells you how much gold, how many grams of gold has been used in the border, the dupatta, and the pallu, and the same for the silver and copper.
And that's pure gold.
Pure gold, yeah.
Wow. And these saris are from where?
Kanjeevaram.
So this is a Kanjeevaram sari with these metallic threads, hand woven.
Hand woven, yeah.
Wow, look at that.
Yeah, just open it from that end, yeah. So this is the
Wow.
pallu.
The pallu is the part that goes over the shoulder.
Exactly.
So the sari is not woven it's 7 yards, right?
7 yards.
In 7 yards, it's not woven just 7 yards of cloth. It's segmented out in different sections based on where it's going to be on the body. And the most elaborate part is the part of the sari that will go over the woman's shoulder and be kind of on display at the back. Or if it's not pleated over her shoulder and she lets it drape down over her arm, it will be on display sort of when she lifts her arm up. So that's all gone into play here, right?
Yeah, so this is the pallu, and then this is the main part of the sari.
Look at that. Wow.
And then this is your blouse piece.
So the blouse piece is woven into the yardage?
Yeah, so technically a sari is only 6 yards.
Okay, and then 1 yard.
And 1 yard for the
For the
blouse,
blouse.
piece. So it's either 5.5 meters and 6.3 with the blouse, or 6 yards and 7 yards.
I also have to show them before you close this back up. And then at the very end, when they take it off the loom and cut it, look what they've done to the warp threads. They've tied them in this beautiful fringe, and that would also be visible on the pallu side.
And you...
Wow, there's birds woven into the main part.
Go ahead, open it from that side.
It's incredible. Wow.
So that's your pallu, and then this is the sari. And this is our blouse piece right here.
Wow. This is the blouse piece.
Yeah.
So you can see that everything sort of is connected. The blouse would be this pattern. The border, this large gold border here, would go on the arm. That's where the border would be used. This really big, wide border would look stunning on the arm. And really the tailor and the customer decides where to place that. Some ladies want a short blouse. Some ladies want a blouse that's really long. Usually those change with the trends from year to year. My mom would go to her seamstress, and the seamstress would say, no, you don't want a long arm. Nobody's wearing long arms now. Only old ladies are wearing arms. You want a really short arm. And my mom would go, oh, okay, and just listen to her. So I would hear all this, and all that would come into play based on what you see here. The seamstress and the customer would decide how to use that. But the beautiful thing is it's the same threads, the same warp threads in here are in here as well. So everything just beautifully matches and actually goes together seamlessly. You know all of this, so I'm saying this for the people watching this. Our culture is so ancient, it's so old, and what I love is that it hasn't died. It's still alive and it's still being used. And like when I was a little boy, we studied ancient Egypt, and I was so fascinated to learn how rich it was from thousands of years ago. And I wanted to be a part of that. And unfortunately, as kids in a Western school, we don't learn about Indian culture.
Forget Western schools, you don't even learn in India.
Really?
Well, I was born and brought up there. I studied
Yeah.
till freshman year of high school there. We like Chola dynasty.
This is the thing.
We weren't really taught about Chola dynasty.
Yeah.
Barely. It was maybe a page. But the depth
Wow.
of what that dynasty has done for the civilization is phenomenal, right?
I'm only learning this stuff now.
Yeah.
It's only as an adult putting my time into educating myself, finding books written by professors from universities that are teaching this stuff, listening, going to their lectures, to hear about the richness of this culture thousands of years ago, and then to be able to look at a temple that's 1,000 years old and see the garments that they're wearing are the same garments that we're wearing. For me, the beauty of these things is that it really is tied to that ancient world. One piece of cloth that was artfully draped. Shashank, thank you so much for all your time today, and for touring us around your empire here in Edison, New Jersey. This has been so fascinating.
Thank you. I'm glad you made it. It was such a pleasant, wonderful surprise to have met you. Yeah.
Absolutely. I feel the same. Thank you.
Anytime.